partnering with Marketing Boost has allowed me to put together a really nice church fundraising program that I use using Marketing Boost trip incentives. And the purpose of the church fundraising program that I use, as you see below, it really is, there's two targets in mind. One, to help the churches raise as much money as possible for their ministry needs. And number two, to bless those that bless the church. That's simple, right? And so what we did, we fine-tuned the program. I've been doing this for 2 years now. And so it's a really simple, it's easy to implement. There's no fine print. We do it in just a few minutes. And it allows us to partner with the churches. And for us, for me personally, that's what I seek. I don't seek to go to a church to sell them something. I don't seek to go to a church to go in and to go out. As you see here in this slide right here, what I really seek and I try to establish is a connection with that pastor and a partnership with that church, not just for one event, but forever. I try to develop those friendships so that pastor knows that he can call me in the future if there's a need, if he needs to do another fundraiser, anything else that they need in the future. I seek partnerships, not just one-time events. And this is a very positive thing, a message perhaps for other people that are on the webinar, regardless of the type of business that we're in. You know, when we make partnerships with our clients, then they become our client for today, but also for tomorrow. Very, very important. It's a philosophy that I believe in very strongly, and partnering with Marketing Boost has actually made it easier for me to develop these partnerships with the churches. So through Marketing Boost, then what we do, we are able to sponsor a specific church fundraising project. For example, let's say the church needs a new PA system. Maybe they need new microphones. Maybe they need a new projector. Maybe they need new pews. Maybe they need to purchase a new van, a new piano, maybe for international mission strategies. There's always needs in a church. And before I go any further, let me just make one further clarification that by design, I only choose to partner with small churches, meaning typically 150 members or less, 100 members or less. Those for me are my sweet spot, because if I go to a large church, 1,000 members, they don't need me. They don't need to fundraise. They got a lot of money. If they're that big and they have their own, a whole block worth of property, and then they're probably not going to even let me through the door. But small churches, and they are everywhere. Small churches nowadays, just driving through a mall. I mean, they small strip malls. They are everywhere. Those small churches are my sweet spot. Why? Because I already know when I go speak to the pastor, the answer to my question, Mr. Pastor, is there a need in your church that you could use some help with fundraising? Then I already know the answer to that question. The answer is going to be, heck yes, absolutely. Mr. Pastor, with an extra $1,000, be able to help for your a project in your church with an extra $2,000. And the answer, if I go to a small church, will always be yes. And so that's why I choose to help assist only small churches. So I ask them, what's the need in your church? Do you need new rugs? Do you need a new carpeting? Do you need, again, the PA system? What is it that you need? And based on that specific need, then we build an event that targets fundraising just for that specific purpose. And so what we do then is as you're going to see in a few slides here, we set up an event for that Sunday for that church. We put it on our calendar, and we are able to partner with them by doing a church donation appreciation program that we do in conjunction here by using Marketing Boost trip incentives. So when we are there at the presentation at the church, it takes me 10, 15 minutes max. I remind the church members that it's biblical scripture, that God loves a cheerful giver, and that it is a more blessed, it is a more blessed thing to give than to receive, right? And here is then the program I explained to them in a very simple way, very simple, no fine print. Simply, here's the need that the pastor has presented. We need to buy a new van. Well, for every person sitting in this pews today that makes a $100 donation to the church project, not to me, I don't even touch the money. I have nothing to do with the money. When I'm standing up there, I have the church treasurer standing up next to me, or the church secretary standing next to me. But it's really, really simple. For every person that blesses your church with a $100 donation, on behalf of my company, absolutely free and without any commitment to anything, we will give you a free vacation stay in Cancun, Hawaii, or Vegas. I then ask who wants to go to Cancun, and about half of the hands go up. I ask who wants to go to Hawaii, about another 25% of hands go up. I ask who wants to go to Vegas, and the gamblers in the congregation, those hands go up. And it is that simple. So now I have by design used that $100 number because then it makes the math very easy. For example, if I go to a congregation that only has 50 members, and I love those kind of congregations, I've been to many of them, well, then that lets me know going in that potentially we can raise about $5,000 in 5 minutes. To a pastor of a small congregation, raising $5,000 in 5-10 minutes, he probably has never seen that before. And it's an amazing thing. It's a wonderful thing. And we don't make it any more complicated than that. Now, we try to get 100% participation of the adults sitting in the pews that Sunday in the church. That's why we used the $100 donation instead of 1,000, instead of 500, because we want everyone to donate. We make it really easy so that everyone, even if you work at Jack in the Box, man, you can do this. You can be a blessing to your church. And in return for that, you're going to be blessed as well. It's that simple. It's that easy. We don't touch the money, and the results are there. So again, this is just another, we have this flyer that we pass out. Every person that donates the $100 to the church is going to receive a 6-day, 5-night stay in Cancun and us. You see some of the features there about taking that Cancun trip. So people get excited about it. People get, there's also some people with some doubts, no doubt. But then we also, during the presentation, it's a 10-minute presentation that I give. The first 5 minutes lets them know who I am on my business side, how my company sponsors this vacation getaway. And the next 5 minutes, we simply let them know about the trip, how legitimate it is, right? We let them know they can go to Cancun. We let them know they can go to Hawaii. We let them know they can go to Vegas, right? And we explain to them, they're all 4- and 5-star resorts and hotels. This is not Mickey Mouse. This is not Motel 6. They're all going to have a stay at a very, very nice location, such as the Mayan Palace in Cancun, right? And here I am doing one of those 10-minute presentations. Very simple, very easy, nothing complicated. I make it very, very transparent, right? So what is the results? As you see here in front of you, what is the results? Right there in front of you. This right here, I'm with the pastor of a small church. And we were able in 10 minutes to raise for him, sitting in those pews that Sunday, were 30 members. That's it, 30 members. And in 10 minutes, we had raised $2,500, as you see there. That to him, he was amazed. He had never seen that before, and he had never witnessed that before, certainly not in his church. And in 10 minutes, we raised $2,500 for his church. Here's another pastor, again, small congregation. I think he had like 25 members sitting down, or 30 members at that Sunday. We raised in 10 minutes, $2,500. Here's another pastor in Orange County, California. We raised $3,000 in 10 minutes. Here's another pastor. This is a little town outside of San Diego called Fallbrook. It's not even in the city. It's out there in the boonies. He had 50 people sitting down there when we started. We counted them. 50 adults, close to 50 adults, and we raised, as you see there, $6,000. The reality is, for his church, we raised about close to 7,000. Why? Because I encourage, once we do the presentation, I encourage everyone in that congregation to go out and tell their family and their friends and their co-workers that if they donate $100 to the church, I will give them a trip to Cancun, Hawaii, or Las Vegas. So what happens after the event, additional monies keep pouring in. And that's what happens in just about every single church. So the result is, in just about every single church, an additional $500 to $1,000 comes in after the program, simply because of outside money that keeps on pouring in. Here's a church where we were able to raise $10,000. That's amazing for a small congregation. If you can, again, if you can appreciate our member or have been to a small church, these kinds of monies are simply unbelievable, right? And I want you to appreciate this picture, right? So on the left side is the same pastor, it's the same church, but you see on the picture on the left side, that was 2 years ago when I went to that church and I did a barbecue fundraiser. If you look at me, I look all tired, sweaty, because I was there all day long flipping burgers, trying to bless this church to do a fundraiser for him. I raised $500 from the barbecue, another $500 through a laptop that I donated that was raffled, $1,000. And on the right, you see, I went back a year later with the marketing boost trip incentives. And instead of all day long barbecuing in 10 minutes, I had raised for the same pastor, the same congregation, $2,500. So the results are absolutely